Thank you to be here today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Planet Africa. Your host, Serge Nyawa. I'm here today with my friend Aljoram Anasat Chedi.
Yes, sir.
We are going to talk about Liberian presidential 2017, and with me, I have an important guest who's going to talk about this presidential. Aljoram, thank you to be here today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyawa.
What's going on in Liberia this year for the election, presidential 2015?
Elections is supposed to be in October, and the registration process of voters just ended. There's been a very low turnout in voters registration. There are a couple of reasons that could be attributed to why there's a low turnout. In fact, the Elections Commission had difficulties from the beginning with equipment that was given to them by the international community. Cameras and other things were not working. So the election commissioner had to extend the registration process to a week or so.
But it's only cameras or camcorders, or there's no computers for for this registration?
Well, they have computers and other electronic gadgets to help in the process, illumination machines and everything.
But since Salif Ellen Johnson has been on power, what has she done? Because it's now 2 decades. She has been on power since how many years? More than 10 years. Maybe she has done something about all this equipment, but while we are going to talk about equipment and based on our help on outside the website, every time we have to wait them to get help.
The thing here, Serge, is Liberia has been under more than 50 years of a bloody civil crisis, and we just came from a war. The economy has not been so good. So Ellen has struggled with the international community to first of all waive our debts. Billions of dollars were waived. And then she had to lobby for people to come to the country and establish businesses. Security had to be provided, So it's been a very slow process. People expect things to have been done, lights, water, roads, streets, and everything. That is not the case. She built some roads. Now, people will argue on whether the quality of the roads that has not been stressed on from the beginning.
But this is my problem. When sometimes, we have a candidate and they said, I would like, to do something. This is what I'm going to do for you as the candidate. This is what I'm going to do for this country as the candidate. And you know that there's no money and you come on power. She's supposed to do everything. Yeah. Now, why is gonna have, why is she gonna have this problem?
Well, that's politics. People make promises that they really don't live up to. That's why I'm a bit distant from politics. They raise the hopes of the people, and when it comes to implementation, there is always a downside. But then look at it again. Who's going to come and say, "Hey, I'm not going to do nothing for you, but vote for me"? People have to say something now. How they actualize those things is another problem.
You don't tell me that the politicians are liars?
Many persons will tell you that.
Okay, now we have how many candidates? We have we have Mr. George Weah, who was defeating Salif Ellen Johnson. We have also Amara Kone. We have Charles Bossy, who is coming back, and we have more candidates. The Vice President Barkai was working with Salif Ellen Johnson. Do you agree that this man is going to continue where Salif Ellen Johnson left the development, or he has his own improvement for Liberian?
He is the vice president to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for almost a decade, more than a decade, almost 12 years going now.
12 years.
Yeah, and he is an extension of the president. But there have been some vice presidents who will serve as vice president, but when they become president, they have their own agenda. So I cannot really say that he's going to extend the policies of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf.
I don't understand. You was working with somebody else, and under the table you have your own agenda. Why don't you work together with that person and improve, that country development? But you have this agenda before, and you are there.
Well, he's the vice president. The vice president is to only work under the president. You do things that the president assigns you to do as well. So you cannot compete with the agenda of the president. It has to be the same. Even if you have ideas, if you give it to the president and the president does not want to implement those ideas, the president will not. But if you become president, where you are in charge, you take control, you can set your own agenda. So he is performing as a vice president under Ellen. He cannot be seen as conflicting with the president, like in the case of Sierra Leone.
Okay, George Weah has been struggle, to be president, and he is today on the list between him and Boakai and also Charles Bolton. What do you think who's going to be the best candidate, to rule the Liberian? And Liberian will never cry anymore. And Liberian will have a peace. I know that Liberian have a peace, but they need a development. Liberian want to eat. Sometimes they don't eat. Sometimes people, they are hungry. But all these politicians, they want the power. We give them power, they cannot do anything. What do you think about these candidates coming back?
I can't vouch for any of them at all. Politicians are, to a large extent, like I was saying, they lie to people. It's very hard to find very true, honest, sincere people. So all of the names you call, in fact, Amara Kane is not running as yet. Nobody knows about that. So it's Boakai, it's businessman Benin Ayure, is Coca-Cola executive Alexander Cummings, is Charles Bromsking, is Mills Jones of the former governor of the National Bank of Liberia. And also Prince Johnson is also still.
Yes, Prince Johnson.
So, Boakai, you see, the thing here is, why would, after 10 years in power, why would you still want to go for another,
And Salif Ellen Johnson support Boakai. And I hear that she supports also Charles Bromsky.
Well, that is what
this kind of game she's playing.
The present controversy is that Boakai is accusing the president of supporting Charles Bromsky. Charles Bromsky is firing back and saying the president not supporting him. The president came and said, I am not supporting Bromsky, I'm supporting Boakai. But the signs are clear. People are not stupid. They see what is going on. Bromsky does not have money from nowhere. All of a sudden, Bromsky got a new office. He got fleece of cars all over the place. Now, one will understand that as a smart politician, Ellen is trying to play two-hand games. She's trying to make sure that she supports Bromsky, also support Boakai, so whosoever wins will make sure that our interest is protected. She have denied that repeatedly, but hey, are you expecting her to come and say, yes, I'm doing this? No, that's the nasty thing.
Which kind of game politicians are playing this word that Jerome SHD? Are we going to stay, behind all these politicians? You mentioned Charles Bronstein. Did he have money when he's coming? Because sometimes, we don't have money, but we use the money for the governor or for the population, for Liberian money, to rule that's a country. They're going to implement, their own plan to govern that country. Do you think that somebody is ready there to have, a knowledge about what it's going to do for the Liberian development today?
Well, George Weah has been in politics for the longest now. He's a footballer. He's learning his ropes. He's in the Senate.
He has been learning. Many years.
Yeah, but learning has no end. So, but another businessman, Alexander Cummings, who served as the vice president in Coca-Cola.
But who's going to be the best candidate according to what we are seeing?
Yeah, we got Prince Johnson, we got Joseph Boakai, we got George Weah.
Let's talk about John Prince, John Johnson. Prince Johnson.
Prince Johnson.
Yes, that guy is from Nimba County.
Nimba County has a very large.
And he was with Charles Taylor together before.
He broke away from
he broke away from Charles Taylor.
Yeah.
But tonight he's coming back. Do you think that he's going to do the best job?
Well, I don't know whether he's going to win, because he tried 2 times, he did not win. But he's always a formidable force. Anybody he supports, that person wins, because from this region he has a lot of votes. So he's always like the kingmaker. Anywhere he throws himself, that person is going to win. Right now, he's kind of flip-floppy. He doesn't have a definite stance. One minute, he's like, oh, we want a native man to be the president of Liberia. You know what I mean? Then
now, he's not improving himself at all.
Well, I can't say that. He's an ex-military man. He has a church. He has a school. He's advocating for his people. He's very loud. He condemns.
Do you think that the military can hold the development of the country? Do you think they have knowledge to really improve, you know, kind of development?
Well, the couple of things in Liberia that really needs a strong hand to correct. I am not a proponent of anybody who will use military tactics, but there are certain things that require, in my mind, a strong military background and training. In the fight against corruption, we need somebody who is principle-minded, who is going to know that if you violate anything or if you steal the people's money, you must be dealt with according to the law. Person of that nature of a military training who sticks to the plan and the mission will be needed. So I am not really advocating for Prince Johnson, but he has a training. His background will enable him to take some very drastic stands to correct the evil in our society.
Now you think that he can do it?
Well, I think he can do it if given a chance, but Liberia is not willing to take any.
What's about George Weah?
Well, George Weah, like I say, he's still.
I want to tell you that George Weah was recently in Côte d'Ivoire, you know, go to visit Bédier.
Yeah.
I don't know why he went to visit Bédier. Or he was just going to, you know, get some advices.
Yeah, maybe George Weah trying to show that he has some international friends that he can lean on. He can get pieces of advice from them, some political knowledge. So he was there talking to Conan Bédier. Other reports have it that he went to solicit money. He was in Nigeria. He met the Ghanaian president and all that. So George Weah is showing that, I mean, he got some people that he can lean on for some political knowledge. Now, George Weah is a very popular man in Liberia. Don't get me wrong. George Weah could be the next.
I hear that George Weah was your friend.
George Weah is a personal friend of mine.
Okay, now, can you tell us, you know, if, because you are called George Weah, if he has, you know, kind of knowledge, I'm not talking knowledge, but if he can really improve Liberian development.
George Weah can, yes, he can. If given the chance with the right advisors with him, George Weah has love for that country. All that is needed is the right people around him. But from his heart, that boy has love for the country. Now, if he has the wrong people around him, I'm sorry, Liberia is going to be doomed. This is the thing. He's just recently formed a coalition. And in that coalition, he chose the ex-wife of Charles Taylor as his vice running mate. And Howard Taylor is George Weah's vice president. Now that is scary.
But there's one of John Charles Taylor wife who is a candidate also. I don't know because I saw all this, you know.
Joy Howard Taylor, she was the presidential candidate for Charles Taylor's party, the NPP.
Oh, okay.
But they form a coalition.
okay.
So they joined George Weah, and so in the coalition, George Weah made her vice president.
No.
So is she and George Weah on the same ticket?
No.
So Charles Taylor has been talking to George Weah. Is it a good thing for Charles Taylor, who we ran out of that country, who is now in jail, to be talking to George Weah?
Hold on. You're talking about Charles Taylor, who is right now in Charles Bianca Ganke Taylor, who is right now in jail.
Yeah.
He is talking to George Weah to rule that country.
Now, well, what they're talking about is that we don't know the details. According to George Weah, Charles Taylor was talking to one of his relatives in a meeting, and I told the relative he wanted to talk to George Weah. So they gave the phone to George Weah. So George Weah said, "Hello, Mr. President, how are you doing?"
Interesting.
Yeah, George Weah said he had to respect the man. Whether he's in jail or not, he's the ex-president of Liberia. He has to give him due courtesy. Now, how long have they been talking? What have they been talking about? We don't know. What led George Weah to even select Charles Taylor's ex-wife?
You didn't know that, you know, it's a kind of George Weah is compromising himself because, you know, Mr. Charles Taylor has been president, and now he has been in jail for something else, and Liberian reject him.
Exactly.
And George Weah is going to talk to these people. What kind of stuff, you know, under the table?
Well, that's what many people are saying right now. George Weah should not be talking to Charles Taylor that way. You know, Charles Taylor has been condemned by the international community for atrocities he committed in Sierra Leone. There's a whole lot of things that Liberian people, you know, have against Charles Taylor. Now he's talking to George Weah. A lot of people are saying that's not good. Alan White, the prosecutor, said that Charles Taylor is trying to rule Liberia indirectly. That he has millions of dollars that is buried somewhere. He is trying to use George Weah to protect his interests and seek his release after he becomes president. That is not good. George Weah should be distancing himself from people like Charles Taylor right now.
Okay. Let's talk about, you know, the way Charles Taylor has much of millions somewhere. Do you think that if a child terror is talking to George Weah, you don't think that George Weah can take that money, child terror, put somewhere to bring it in Liberia to develop Liberia, because this is Liberian money, and Liberia need to be proud of this.
Yeah, all those things are speculations. People are saying that. What is the truth to it? But granted, if there was some truth to that, President Taylor should not be giving his money to George Weah. If he really loves the country, he should say, look, I got $50 million buried somewhere. Let the government go and collect it and use it.
Charles Weah is smart, because he has 15 years to be in jail. How is going to use that money? He just want to tell Liberian, I'm so sorry, let's support a child. Let's support George Weah. I'm going to give him all this money to rebuild, Liberian. Yeah. I think the Liberian don't need to be, very angry with that.
Yeah, but Charles Taylor has repeatedly denied that he has money anywhere. He challenged the international community to prove it.
But you are a journalist. Somebody can come to you. You have too much money. There's what you need to do and what you don't need to do. And if you tell people that I'm lying, after that you can apologize yourself.
Okay, I understand. He could have said he did not have money and then later on come and say, you know what, I have this money somewhere, I want to use it for the country. Well, that is something he should be doing to the national government. But when he begins to select a particular candidate and talk to them, then the fear is he's going to use that money to influence that candidate, and we don't want that.
I think that George Weah, he will just appear on TV or just call public and talk about this issue, because we want a best candidate for Liberian, and we want to improve Liberian development where we are today. There's recently the book called Liberian Democracy Ambush. This book has been written by what is his name, Mr. Wetore Songbe.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that he said how Liberian president and the educated elite plots Liberia into dictatorship, poverty, war, and what again? Underdevelopment. What's your take about it?
Well, people have their opinion. When you write and say the elite of the country have contributed to the poverty and the backwardness, there is some logic in that, because the people who've been ruling Liberia are all elites. They're the educated ones. But look how far the country has been. Ellen Johnson is a Harvard-trained economist. What has she achieved so far? So when you blame the backwardness of Liberia to the educated class, I think there's some logic in it, because the native and the uneducated ones have not been given power. Okay, the only person that got power was Samuel Doe, and we could tell that within the period that Samuel Doe led Liberia, there was tremendous development. That was the first uneducated countryman that came to power. He did very well as compared to all the educated elites who've been there before, even now.
I think that Samuel Doe has done what he need to do, but he has maybe some money somewhere. He had somewhere we don't know. And today, this is Charles Taylor who come over and say, "Hey, George Weah, I have money." He could not tell people publicly that this is the money I have. And he's clever for that, and I'm so happy for Liberian, for me to take that money. They need to know where is that money, and they can take that money to go.
Well, and that is the thing. For the record, Charles Taylor did not even say he has money. That's a speculation. Okay. The speculation also that Samuel Doe had money buried somewhere, it's not a speculation. It's not been proven. Now the reason why people are thinking that largely is because most of the time African leaders take billions of dollars and bury it into Swiss accounts. When they die, the government of Switzerland do not give that money back to the African government. They take the money. That's how Switzerland got rich to some extent. Now African leaders are burying their own money so they can have control of where it goes. And so who to tell that they got the money, we don't know. We just speculate.
I see. We don't have time. I think that next time we're going to continue, this show, because it's really, really, really important for us, to vote the best person to rule, Liberia. We don't need the fake people today. Okay. The way we have a fake news, we don't want any fake people. And Liberians need to open their eyes, to vote somebody.
Liberia,
what's going to be your final words?
My final word is that Liberians need to open their eyes to select the right candidate. I know it's going to be difficult because the electorate is not informed. They don't have the requisite information to make good choices. The way I look at things, it's going to be an exercise that is going to take very great challenges. But it's hope that God, will intervene and that the people will choose who they want.
Thank you, Mr. Jerome. And I said, Chedi, I was very happy to have you, as a guest. And I think that next time, we are going to talk about what is going on in the African continent. We have Senegal, we have Gambia. Today, how the Gambia people are living. If Mr. Adama Barrow, who is going to be the president, can do something. We're going to talk about next time.
And we're going to talk about Laurent Gbagbo. Let's see how his trial is going as well.
Laurent Gbagbo is already fine.
Okay.
But something wrong. With the ISIS, we need some proof, and if they don't have proof, there's no way they can condemn that person.
Okay.
I think next time we're going to talk about it. It's almost time to, go back for ground debate. And my name again is Serge Nyawa. I'm so happy, for you guys who are watching, this TV show. Next time we'll be more. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.